Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to, from the onset, send my condolences to the family of the late Mwai Kibaki, a great man, a visionary leader, a brilliant economist, a Democrat par excellence, and the best president ever in our 5-decade history in this country. Mr. Speaker, the late Mwai Kibaki hailed from Nyeri, the lads of milk and honey, the land of the courageous, the land of the brave, the land of Dedan Kimathi Washuri, the land of Professor Wangari Maathai, and he has done us proud. Mr. Speaker, Mwai Kibaki's pretended over unprecedented economic development that changed people's lives, and by the time he handed over in 2013, Mr. Speaker, he left Kenyans a happy lot. Everybody had money in the pocket. Mr. Speaker, the late Mzee Mwai Kibaki expanded business and created the best environment for doing business in this country. He opened up the East for the people of Kenya to trade with China and other countries. Mr. Speaker, he brought about access to affordable credit. If Kenyans can remember during his time, there were tents outside every building where banks were hawking loans to the people of Kenya to do business. Today, the reverse is the reality. It is Mwai Kibaki who brought free primary education, and he will be remembered by the people of Kenya for many years to come. Mr. Speaker, Mwai Kibaki had respect for the rule of law. He never used the criminal justice system to manage politics. He managed politics in the conventional way. And he was a gentleman, and he never coerced anybody. He never intimidated anybody to follow his political thinking. He let every Kenyan be. After serving for 39 years as Member of Parliament for Udaya, when the time came for him to retire, he never forced the people of Udaya, who is the next Member of Parliament. When his time as President to retire came, he allowed the people of Kenya to choose their own leader without coercion and intimidation. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Rigathi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to mourn my President, His Excellency Mwai Kibaki. Mr. Speaker, I will remember President Mwai Kibaki as the President of this country, Mr. Speaker, and I remember him specifically, Mr. Speaker, because the Jamhuri Day of 2011, Mr. Speaker, the President awarded me the Head of State Commendation Award, the HSC, Mr. Speaker. That is why I use HSC. That is an award, Mr. Speaker, that I received in 2011 from the President, recognizing the work I do in my community, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the great people of Migori County, and on behalf of persons with disabilities that I represent, Mr. Speaker, in this House, I wish to send my condolences to the family and the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, persons with disabilities of Kenya are mourning the President, Mr. Speaker, who basically made their lives better in this country. Mr. Speaker, it is during Kibaki's time in 2003, Mr. Speaker, that the Persons with Disabilities Act was signed into law in this country, Mr. Speaker, and that has been a law that has made it easier for persons with disabilities of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, to actually have their lives and their rights recognized in this country. Mr. Speaker, it was during that time, and Mr. Speaker, going into 2008, when actually this country also, Mr. Speaker, as you may know, signed the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, Mr. Speaker, making life easier for persons with disabilities. Mr. Speaker, I am a life member of Maendeleo ya Wanawake. Mr. Speaker, Maendeleo ya Wanawake in this country, women of this country, Mr. Speaker, are proud of President Kibaki, Mr. Speaker, because you know that President Kibaki supported Maendeleo ya Wanawake and supported women of this country, Mr. Speaker. We are mourning the loss of our President. Mr. Speaker, free primary education, Mr. Speaker. Children who would never have gone to school, Mr. Speaker, had an opportunity for the first time to access education, to see the classroom, Mr. Speaker, courtesy of our third President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Mwai Kibaki. Mr. Speaker, for me, the first time I saw a superhighway was during his time, Mr. Speaker. coming to do a superhighway, Thika superhighway infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, we must give credit where it is due. And Mr. Speaker, I salute President Mwai Kibaki, and I ask that his soul rests in eternal peace. Amen. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Kadui. Sorry, honourable members, I'm still trying to coordinate out there.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish, on behalf of my family, the people of Kandui, and the entire Democratic Action Party, to send condolences to the family, friends, relatives, and Kenyans for the loss of President Emilio Mwai Kibaki. Mr. Speaker, I had the privilege of serving with President Kibaki during the 8th Parliament when he was my leader of opposition between 1997 and 2002. Mr. Speaker, I also had the privilege of having served with him as my president, as both Member of Parliament, and also as his special envoy to the African Union and Somalia, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a great man, a great leader Kenyans have lost. He was a pillar of stability, Mr. Speaker. We all are aware of the things he has done for this country, ranging from free primary education, growing our economy, Mr. Speaker, building stable infrastructure, ensuring roads across the country, Mr. Speaker, and above all, making Kenya a liberal and open society with expanded democratic space. Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, he was the leader of the Democratic Party of Kenya, the party you now lead, the party that you now lead, Mr. Speaker, and I lead the Democratic Action Party of Kenya. Both our parties, Mr. Speaker, stand for expanded democracy, expanded democratic space in this country, Mr. Speaker. They can see the Honorable Chungwa laughing at it. It is true we stand for that, Mr. Speaker. And today, as we mourn the late fallen hero, I want to appeal that we emulate the things he did for this country. We emulate the things he did for this country, growing this country, ensuring equitable distribution of resources. He visited Bungoma, my constituency, and started Kibabi Teacher Diploma Training College. People had been praying for it for many years. Eventually, he started Kibabi University, and he did many people for which he's going to be remembered, Mr. Speaker. May his soul rest in everlasting peace. Amen.